at 273 for 8. Well, that's a fairly even performance from the England batsmen. There was a little bit in the pitch for the bowlers, and Alan Border did put England into bat, so he must have expected to have the chance of bowling them out. The bowling figures for the Australians: Lawson had 20 of those 81 runs come from no balls, and McDermott was the outstanding performer for Australia with 25 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 64. Simon O'Donnell, a very high proportion of those 82 came from boundaries, and Bob Holland did just the job required of him on the first day of this test: 23 overs, 6 maidens, none for 42. A very good strike rate for England with the bat, 50 runs per 100 balls, and a disappointing over rate for a delayed start, and the Australians then took the new ball as soon as they got onto the field. The ball passed the outside edge on a number of occasions. Lawson and McDermott were the bowlers. Only 10 runs were accumulated up to the point where we pick up play, and that is in the 8th over. McDermott is the bowler, and Foster is taking straight.
Oh, magnificent catch in the gully by a couple of Wessels just on the changeover here. Craig McDermott gets his 5th wicket. A wonderful performance. He fully deserves that. That's the first 5-wicket haul by McDermott in a test match. I'm sure he'll have plenty more. A lifting ball outside the off stump and magnificently caught high up two-handed in the gully by Kepler Wessels.
Jeff Lawson at the nursery end. Firm shot. No real flourish from Phil Edmonds, but the timing was right. Very useful innings. Flying edge. Well, outrageous. Certainly the naughtiest boy in the class.
Craig McDermott.
And that's it. That's it. A flurry of bodies there. Slip, but the catch went safe to hand. Firm bat. Quickly, and Alan Border, the skipper, at second slip. Handsome figures indeed. Craig McDermott, 6 wickets for 70 runs.
Yes, great performance from young Craig McDermott to pick up those last 2 wickets. A player of tremendous potential. I think David Gower would be quite happy with that 290. He'd have settled for that at the start of play yesterday. And I don't think Border will be too unhappy either. He has the problem, perhaps, of needing to bat last. Lawson, 3 for 91. McDermott, 6 for 70. A day he'll never forget. Simon O'Donnell, 1 for 82, and Bob Holland, none for 42, were not used. The openers for Australia, when the umpires took them onto the field, were Hilditch and Wood. We pick up play now in the final ball of the 2nd over. Paul Allen is the bowler. He's coming in to bowl to Wood, and 1 run is on the board. And is away. The outfield has quickened up a little since yesterday. It's quick enough for them to come back for the 4th run. No problems there for Andrew Hilditch. A long chase. The man that covered, Tim Robinson. That'll be an easing of the nerves for Graham Wood. Good shot again. Wood seems to be getting that front foot way down the pitch today to try and get as close as possible to the line of the ball. Front foot a long way down. Has to be the battle plan for the day. Embury. Well, I'm not too sure what goes on in batsmen's minds when there's a man placed out there, specifically in the spot very, very wide, a most unusual place to have a man, and the batsman holds out. Allen a wicket, Embury a catch, and Wood a failure.
He gets right underneath it, and it's in the air an awful long time. John Embury hardly having to move and taking the catch very comfortably indeed. A good breakthrough for England, and not the sort of start Australia would have been looking for.
Very fond of the cut, and plays it well. Lamb came round very quickly to his left-hand side, but had no chance of cutting that off.
A little bit of width from Neil Foster, severely punished by Hilditch.
Great attempt. Just flashing away through the slip area there, away from Botham's right hand.
The sort of catch we expect Botham the Magnificent to take. He was, as usual, had his hands on his knees, but he's got such a good eye, he usually manages to clutch onto those. Paul Allen's coming in really well now, after the encouragement of Graham Wood's wicket. David Evans will have decided that that just pitched outside leg stump. It would have certainly hit the wickets, but just outside leg stump.
The umpires are having a word about the light. Already been off once this morning for bad light. Question whether the batsmen want to take it, which they do. The conditions were bad enough for the umpires to instruct that an early lunch would be taken. They were back on at 1:30, but that was only for 10 minutes. 4 runs were added when they came back on the field. We pick up play now at 20 for 1. Foster is the bowler to Hilditch. Very fine glance by Andrew Hilditch. He's racing away to the deep fine leg boundary. No chance of cutting that off. 24 for 1, and Hilditch now goes on to 14. No doubt about that. Just uprooted the off stump. A classic piece of fast bowling. Always great joy for the man at the bowling end there. He's followed through to see the stump go out of the ground.
Well, that's the perfect fast bowler's delivery. It's through the gate, as they say, between the bat and the pad, driving, nip back off the seam, and knock the off stump clean out.
He's Allen now to bowl to border. Nicely timed for 4.
Beautifully timed by the Australian captain. Half volley on his leg stump. He is in obviously beautiful tune, He's tuned into the England bowling straight away.
Good Yorker and nicely played. Just right. Well, Border jammed down so firmly on that. .44 for 2 now.
There was real consternation when this one was turned down. Bat, of course, miles away from him. He couldn't have hit anything else but the bat if it did hit anything. The bowler was the first one to go up, Paul Allott. It's a bad stroke, that's for sure, way away from his body. The wicketkeeper hasn't really gone up, but Paul Allott was absolutely dumbfounded.
Foster now. He's going to bowl to Kepler Vessels. That's 4. It's a handsome stroke. Vessels only made 2 in a long, long time.
Allan Border now faces Phil Edmonds. Well, that's in the air, but perfectly placed and perfectly played. And it's just the way Allan Border's played the spinners this summer. He hit this golden patch early in the season on his straw, and he scored 4 successive hundreds. The 50 partnership now up between Vessels and Allan Border. But it's Botham. He's gone. It was a lively run-up by Botham, a quicker ball altogether. And again, Kepler Vessels thrusting forward that front leg. And the anticipation of the players soon to reach fruition. The Royal Standard replaces the Union Jack at Lord's. Her Majesty the Queen has now arrived. We'll be in the committee rooms of the pavilion down below. And very shortly, the players of both sides will be presented to her on the field of play. And Ian Botham to bowl to the Australian captain, Allan Border. Short, and that is the appropriate answer. So Border on 49. That's it. Half century for Allan Border, the Australian captain. And how well he's played. One of the features of the Australian side this year, the applause for successful players by teammates, and especially for the captain. 71 balls, 5 fours, and 1 or 2 memorable shots as well. One more slip put in there. No mid-off, 3 slips and a gully. Well, he's made it. He's off the mark, he's away. Oops, and exhausted, the ball arrives at the pavilion steps. And relieved, David Boone gets off the mark with that straight drive. Very fine tickle, and that's a long chase for Allan Lamb from deep backward square leg, and the ball beats him. Yes, he's attacked the spinners right through this tour, never allowing them to bowl at him. A loss of 3 wickets. That's it. It's a glove. It's caught. And David Boone goes. And Ian Botham almost invented that dismissal. There was nothing in the pitch. He fiddled about, changed the field, dug the ball in short, and did it.
An exceptional cricketer, Botham. David Boone normally would have played an attacking shot, but with the tea interval imminent, he just tries to keep the ball out. It's an excellent bouncer, and he just gets his gloves onto the ball and through to Paul Downton. What a cricketer this man is.
Indeed, he is a magnificent all-rounder, and what a crushing blow it was for the Australians to lose those 2 wickets just before the tea interval, particularly David Boone's, which came effectively from the last ball before the break. 101 for 4, and Border has played quite magnificently to that stage. 58 not out, real majestic touches there, and he's back to the form he showed earlier in the tour where he hit 4 success. He pick up play now with 9 runs added after the interval. It's the 4th over after tea, and Botham's 2nd over to Allan Border. Border has that pull shot absolutely right. He just placed it straight down into the ground, or lets it go, just weaves away from it. But, some of the others have had a problem or two with the short one from Botham.
Allan Border's the one man you don't want to test with this, because he's master of it. He's a marvellous puller of the ball, beautifully controlled.
Here's Botham now bowling to Greg Ritchie. Just have pitched in front of Graham Gooch. Be much in it. So he's going forward as well as across, and he doesn't look to be in all that good shape.
Well, it carried, hit him straight on the wrist, in fact. He just went too quick down there.
Just didn't quite time that. It's gone for 4. Didn't get it as he might have wished. It was a pretty good bouncer from Botham.
Graham Gooch to Greg Ritchie. Good shot. Easily played. So 9 runs off this over from Graham Gooch, and the 150 coming up. Paul Allen, the bowler. Oh, superb shot. Easy cover drive, but with all the power. Australian captain in great form. Edmonds to Border. Well, that's an amazing catch. Now, did he hold it long enough? He surely held it long enough, and umpire Dickie Bird says he did not. It was an amazing reaction catch by Mike Gatting off the full face of the bat.
I think Dickie Bird here made the right decision. The fielder never really having the ball under control. He may have been throwing it up in jubilation, but from that picture we can clearly see that he didn't really ever have control of the ball.
Except, of course, that Allan Border started to walk, which is... there he goes. He sees the catch, and Border starts to walk off towards the pavilion, head down.
Perhaps
nice
Mike
shot.
Gatting shouldn't have made that final desperate lunge.
Edmonds to Ritchie. Fine shot. A wider ball, and Greg Ritchie, a full follow through there. He's a strong man, powerfully built. He's picked the balls very well, the ones to hit. It is gloomy. And Allan Border, what a decision for him. 92 not out himself. He's in good form. The spinner's bowling. He can choose to stay there. If he comes off, he has to start all over again. So he has been offered the chance to come off, and he has accepted. So Allan Border settles for 92 not out, and Greg Ritchie 46 not out.
Indeed, they would be happy to settle for that because the light deteriorated even further and there was no more play. 183 for 4. At the close of play, Border, a very good 92, and young Greg Ritchie played wonderfully well for his 46. That's a fine partnership and one that has got the Australians, well, if not out of trouble, certainly on the road to it. 183 for 4, and the England bowlers thought Foster bowled well early on. Allett, very unlucky, beat the bat quite a number of times. Ian Botham, 2 for 41, struck just at the right time, and the spinners didn't really have much work. It's Border we pick up this morning in the third.